Let's take a close look at the short-run aggregate supply curve. The short-run aggregate supply curve represents the level of spending in relationship to the overall price level in the economy. Remember, we measure the price level using the Consumer Price Index, and we measure output using real GDP. Short-run aggregate supply curve is upward sloping, so it's a positive relationship between the overall price level and the overall level of production in the economy. So when the price level goes up, production goes up as well. When one of these factors, when the price level goes down, production goes down. So let's use a microeconomic example to explain why this relationship exists. So imagine that we've got a firm that produces widgets for $10 per unit. And suppose the cost of producing that unit is equal to $7. So the cost includes all of the land, labor, and capital that's necessary to produce a widget. So at the end of the day, their profit is $3 per unit. Well, imagine if the economy experiences inflation. So the prices of all goods on average rise, including widgets. So widgets now have a price of $12 in the economy. However, along any short-run aggregate supply curve, costs of production remain constant. The only thing that are changing are the overall prices of consumer goods. So assuming that the price of widgets goes up to 12, and assuming that the costs of production remain constant at 7, that means firms now have a profit of $5 per unit. They make $5 per widget. And what we learn in microeconomics is that the incentive for firms is to profit. So when a firm is able to profit, it incentivizes them to produce more units. So assuming that all firms behave and are experiencing the same thing as widget makers, when the overall price level in the economy rises, production expands. And now this works in just the opposite way. So if the price of a good or the price of goods were to fall, holding costs constant, that means that the per unit profit would go down and incentivize firms to produce less. So that's a simple explanation as to why the short-run aggregate supply curve is upward sloping. One thing to keep in mind is that along any single short-run aggregate supply curve, we're assuming that the costs that exist in the economy remain constant. So that is the costs of land, labor, and capital, the costs of taxes, the current level of technology and productivity all remain constant.